All right, welcome back to the show. This is Russell Westbrook. I should say, Kurt Helin, that is future six-man Russell Westbrook of the LA Lakers. Now, he's talking about the viral video. There's a huddle. He's outside the huddle. I really want to focus on that. I really want to talk to you about this six-man thing and how you think or what do you think it will produce for the Lakers?
Tension. Like lots of tension. Look, going back to last year, Frank Vogel thought about this. Frank Vogel talked about, hey, maybe we should do this. Maybe look, if Russell Westbrook wants the ball in his hands and wants to run the offense like he's still in Houston or he's still in Washington or whatever, Oklahoma City, the only way we can do that, because I'm not taking the ball out of LeBron James' hands. This year they want to run more through Anthony Davis, who's not playing tonight. If you're going to do all that, the only way to really do it is sixth man, but Westbrook wanted no part of that. So now they're going to try. Look, they're trying it out tonight. Darvin Ham is let's just go with more forceful personality than Frank Vogel. He's not walking on eggshells. He's not walking on eggshells. But this is where a lot of people around the Lakers, and by the way, I mean, fans have been screaming for this. A lot of people have wanted this. The question is simply, Michael, will Russell Westbrook embrace that role?
All right, so I think before we answer that question, and I think he probably will, if the team has success, I think he will really get into it. If his numbers, because I think his numbers are going to be there, Russell Westbrook is going to get numbers. He just is. If he got the ball in his hands, he's going to get boards, he's going to get assists, he's going to get a shot. He will get his shots. That's going to happen. But I think what's so interesting about this, Kurt, is the announcement. What do you make of the announcement of it now that he's coming off the bench?
I think that's trying to cut off what could be. Look, it would have been nuts if suddenly he just wasn't announced with the starting five. This is a road game, by the way. This is not being played at the at crypto.com, the crypt or whatever we're calling it this week, Staples. It's not being played there. And so that gives him it can ease into it a little bit. But there would have been, if they'd just done it, the social media, NBA, Twitter buzz would have been insane. This way you head some of that off. You get us talking about it, you get people saying it, but you get Russell Westbrook to accept it. And you kind of need to, by the way, Russell Westbrook this preseason kind of stunk, Michael. Like, he's shooting below 40%. Like, it is everything that you didn't want from last season. So maybe him with the second unit, he feels more comfortable. Or you could do we're going to start him. He gets the 4 minutes, 3 minutes, yank him, and then throw him back in at 8 or 9 with the second. You know what I mean? Like, give him the official starters thing, but
little courtesy. Little courtesy start.
Yeah, the courtesy. But the real question is, like, when you're closing games, is he going to be out there? And I think a lot of nights, Darvin Ham's going to play it by ear. It's like, no, I'd rather have Kendrick Nunn. If it's a good Lonnie Walker night, which you get sporadically. If you get the good Lonnie Walker night, like whatever it is, they might just roll with that as opposed to putting Westbrook out there, because he has not, for all the right words he has said this preseason, his game has not looked sharp.
Yeah, I was going to say the brilliance to me of the announcement, and I don't know if this is intentional. Maybe I've just been around these NFL teams too long, and they're always playing games. They're always manipulating the media to affect narratives and storylines. Oh, yeah. So I thought the Lakers brought this out now so it wouldn't be a training camp storyline. Hey, the season's about to start. We're going to throw it on you. We're going to throw it out there now, because Darvin Ham and Westbrook have talked about this, but now, final preseason game, they're actually doing it. So it's like Westbrook, it's not a surprise to Westbrook. They've just kept it from us because I guess they didn't want us to. This is what I'm thinking. I could be totally wrong. Yeah. They didn't want us to make this the daily drumbeat of training camp.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, the other thing that they are saying publicly and privately is, hey, 6th preseason game, 6th starting lineup. We are throwing everything against this wall to see what sticks, which frankly is what they should be doing in the preseason. So there is some of that. And Look, Westbrook might thrive. Again, I think this is probably the best role for him at this point in his career, where his skill set is. Come in, you don't need to be terribly efficient. Just go full on Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford with the second unit, man. Just light it up. We'll give you a pick and roll partner. You can go out there and pick and pop with Thomas Bryant and have some fun with it. Just go. We'll see if that, we'll see if that's what he accepts or not. Right now, his preseason play hasn't added to the he's just a contract trade value problem that they've got.
He's an albatross. That's what it is.
Right.
It's a
$47 million albatross.
There it is. They're moving around trying to make it pretty, trying to polish it up, but it's still $47 million player that they'd rather not have, but they can't do anything about it. Let me ask you, going to the Eastern Conference, I love your tiers. In the West, and it's a tough company. You're a tough grader, Kurt Helin. Okay, we got tier 1 in the West. You've got the Warriors and Clippers. That's it. See you later. We got 2 teams. Yeah. In the East, you got 2 teams. You got the Bucks. You got the Celtics. And I really like your Celtics point because I don't know if it's here or nationally. I kind of think that the Ime Udoka story, it was overplayed, obviously, when it happened. Like, we couldn't stop talking about it. Everybody was talking about it. Now it's kind of underplayed. Like, okay, carry on. Hey, you still got Jaylen Brown. You still have Jason Tatum, and they went to the finals last year. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Nobody else was able to unlock those guys like Ime did, and he really got the whole team to buy in. Now he's gone, and they're just supposed to keep going. I mean, I think it's a huge story, and I'm glad to see you write that. What do you think? What do you think will happen with the Joe Mazzulla Celtics?
I think you hit the nail on the head. The biggest question for them is, does the culture that they built, because they figured out who they were halfway through last year, right? Like, hey, by the way, we're going to trade Dennis Schroeder goodbye. Like, I hope you enjoyed your time. We're not giving you the ball again. We're moving on. And we're putting Robert Williams in with more minutes, and suddenly their defense not only is impressive, but their offense just flows better. Everything comes together. They look the last half of last year, since after the All-Star break, they were the best team in basketball. And it showed as they, at least reached the finals. Does that culture carry over? And especially without Robert Williams for the first couple months of the season, at least, or is there, that's where I think the question comes, because I believed Udoka would have been able to pull them together. And I don't know if Joe Mazzulla can. Maybe he can. Everybody speaks highly of him. They love him. Players love him. But, Michael, it doesn't matter the sport. I got a long list of coaches players loved that were pretty crappy as head coaches. Like, it is not an easy job, and it's a different job than being an assistant. It's a very different job in the NBA. I don't know if he's up for it. I think we're going to find out. But I think I'm kind of more of the belief that once they figured out who they were, that they can get back to that regard with Mazzulla as coach. But they gotta show it a little bit.
Yeah, and then you mentioned Milwaukee. I think we've talked about a lot of teams this offseason. Surprisingly, Milwaukee hasn't been discussed nearly enough. Are you banking on the return of health to Middleton's return to health? Is that the key for you? And if you got those guys, if you got Giannis, you got Middleton, and you got Holiday, the way they dreamed it up, then that core there is enough to win a championship. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, and I think they bring back Bobby Portis. They bring back a lot of the role players are still there. They've still got enough playoff depth off the bench. They get Joe Ingles might give them a mid-season bump. We'll see how when he comes back. Yeah, so I mean that's a good roll of the dice by them because they don't need him in the regular season. But yes, the bottom line is, if you've got Chris Middleton is an Olympian and an all NBA player, Drew Holiday is a defensive force up top and he just makes smart decisions and can knock down shots. And by the way, we have the best player walking the face of the earth. Like, that gets you into contender status. And the other advantage they have is they just, again, continuity. They know what system they're playing. They know what they're doing. Same coach, Mike Budenholzer. And I think I think the Warriors get that same kind of benefit. I don't know how seriously the Warriors or the Bucks really take the regular season at this point, but they're going to be contenders. They're going to be top 4 seeds and a real threat regardless once the playoffs roll around.
Yeah, man, there's some really intriguing teams in the tier 1, tier 2 category. And then the teams, I mean, Kurt, let's just get ready for the bottom out. Like, we're going to see some of the best basketball of our lives and the worst basketball, intentionally bad basketball of our lives, because everybody's trying to get that number 1 or number 2 pick. So I just wonder, to what degree will these teams trying to lose, how will they take it? Because OKC, remember OKC a couple years ago, they just bench you. Say, hey man, yeah, we'll still pay you. Could you not come to the arena for the second half of the year? Just go and work out. Do whatever you can. Just don't come. I wonder if those bad teams, Spurs, Thunder, and I keep forgetting the Rockets too. The Rockets are so young. They'll be bad. I wonder what they'll do to increase their lottery chances. Yeah,
well, I think, hey, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, how's your ankle feeling? Is it okay? You need some time.
No, it's not okay. Let me. Don't answer that. Don't answer it. It's not.
Right. I think you're going to get a lot of that. You're going to get, hey, if Jalen Green really finds himself the second half of this year, it'll be the same thing. Nobody's going to be pushing to get those wins. We're going to give the young guys a lot of leeway and a lot of rope, unless they start doing really well with it, and then we're going to pull that rope in. The other thing that's going to be really interesting to watch, Michael, is which team does what Portland did last year and does it earlier. So goes because of injury or just because they're not as good as they thought they were. They decide by Christmas to pull the plug on this thing. And look, I think we've talked about this. Wembanyama was so good, and he did it in Las Vegas, and he raised his profile. And you know who saw those games? All the owners, man. Every owner saw that game. They saw those performances. They watched them on TV if they weren't in Vegas. They've seen it, and it's a lot easier to sell tanking when you can go to your owner and go, Scoot Henderson, Wembanyama, we're not going anywhere this year. Let's at least try to take our chances there. We might not get it, but let's roll the dice. And again, it's a deep draft with the Thompson twins and a bunch of other people. So I think it's going to be easier to sell that to ownership this year than most years.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.